People are wondering if there are actually going to be elections in 2028. I'm Cam from Bulwark. I'm joined today by my friend Lakshya, and we're going to talk about it a little bit because I think that there's some misunderstandings and there's some questions up in the air. You might notice that I am in what looks a lot like Jack Cocciarella's video studio. That is because I'm staying with him this week. We've got some exciting new stuff coming that you're going to love. We're going to be in the Bulwark studio with some exciting members of Congress, not unlike myself in about 2 years. So we'll see how that goes. Lakshya, where are you on the are there going to be elections in 2028 thing?
There obviously will be. I mean, I haven't even spent a second of time worrying about it because when you think it through, there absolutely will be elections. And, I understand things are bad right now, especially for the liberal project in America. I understand that our civil liberties are getting infringed upon at a record pace, but to even open the door to that conversation of will there be elections, I think risks going down a much more dangerous path that has no basis in reality and no grounding, because there's no one federal election. There are a bunch of different elections held by 50 states. And that's what it actually is. Okay, like there are elections held by 50 states. They all happen at the same time.
You don't like that Newsom's going around saying there's just not going to be elections?
No, so I think what Newsom is saying is that basically he's trying to gin up support for California's redistricting, and he's doing that by putting it in an anti-Trump angle. And the best way to do that is by raising the alarm among ordinary voters to level 1000. And the thing is that there are serious liabilities that Republicans face on that whole issue, right? Like, despite Trump coming back into office, that is actually one of the reasons that Republicans underperformed fundamentals in 24, the fear over democracy. Harris actually enjoyed an edge on that, and we have evidence to suggest that another Republican would have done a lot better. So Newsom is just trying to play into those fears. But that doesn't mean that there's actually not going to be elections. There will be elections in 28, and it's our job to go and vote them out.
But, you understand why people are going to question the integrity of these things, right? I just got to D.C. yesterday, and I'm in Union Station. I look around. I'm like, oh, my God, I fucking forgot this city was under military occupation.
Yeah.
Like, that had just kind of left the media sphere just a little bit after the Charlie Kirk assassination. And I was like, whoa, there's soldiers here. There's like a dude with a fucking AR-15 standing in front of Shake Shack. Like, what the fuck am I looking at? But it just brought to mind the fact that a lot of Republican governors sent their own National Guardsmen to support this insane effort. And I'm like, I don't know, man. If I were a voter in a red state, I don't think it's an unreasonable thing to question the integrity of your elections when governors around the country are just bending the knee to Trump, but not only like bending the knee and paying fealty, like bending the knee and kissing his ass and fucking, begging him to let them kiss the ring. So if Trump starts to make phone calls and says this is a guy who spread the big lie. Like, this is a guy who to this day is claiming that he won in 2020 and is talking about how thrilled he is that Vladimir fucking Putin told him that he actually won in 2020. Like, you can't be surprised that people are thinking, are there actually going to be elections right now, when it's not like there has been a legal precedent, at least in terms of the popular conversation, that Trump has actually followed. So I'm not personally like he's going to plant his feet and refuse to leave office guy. But I'm definitely like, yeah, of course people are going to think that. Like, what reason have they been at what point has Trump been presented with, this is illegal, you're not supposed to do this, and been like, oh, okay, my bad. Especially since not only has he talked about it, but Republican media, other Republicans, there are literally Republican elected officials who are saying Trump 2028. And again, I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but this is just a great way to undermine American democracy, is make it so regular voters just have no reason to believe that it's actually going to work. So do you think that there's going to be a point at which the messaging for that tones down and they just start talking about JD Vance, who's obviously going to get fucking eaten alive?
All these things are true at once, which is kind of a wishy-washy answer, but I can explain briefly. I don't expect the average engaged liberal to look around and look at the news and then have any faith in our systems. I understand why they feel that way, because it's kind of like that tweet. I'd like to see old Donnie Trump wriggle out of this jam, and then, well, nevertheless, right? Like at some point you get kind of tired of just watching this over and over and over. And so I get it. But there are certain things that not only can a president not do legally, but he cannot do just by virtue of the fact that he does not have the popular support in this country. Look, listening to governors and media executives, especially around the country, talk where they're so eager to kiss the ring, I don't think they understand that Trump is one of the most unpopular presidents in American history at this time in his presidency. At this point, Joe Biden had just dipped underwater from Afghanistan. Trump is at -10 approvals. So, to be clear, this is not a president that has a popular mandate to do anything. When you do things that are such high salience and the entire public does not like it, what starts to happen is you start to see people get, squishy feet, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, no, I don't think we can do that. And then they back off. You want perfect examples of this? Look at Brian Kemp. Okay. Brian Kemp was viewed as like MAGA's #1 soldier for a while. If you remember that ad he put out in 2018, he was like, I got a big truck just in case I got to round up criminal illegals and take them over the border myself. That's what he said. Come 2020, Trump calls Brian Kemp and says, hey, man, you're my #1 soldier. I need you to find 12,000 extra votes. And Kemp says, what the fuck? No. And this happens again and again with everyone that is put in a position of power to actually do something that is so blatantly illegal that it would overturn an election. They all say no.
Okay, but things have also changed. It's not like this is the Republican Party of 2020. This isn't even the Republican Party of 2023. There's been a complete fucking paradigm shift, and the map is just shit, and there's no coming back from this. Right. I want to get to one more thing before we go, which is Vance 2028. We've talked about it before. I want to keep talking about it because it's going to be part of the conversation. I don't think your average news media consumer who doesn't consume a lot of alternative media understands the degree to which JD Vance is not going to be the fucking Republican nominee in 2028. But I think it bears repeating. He's not going to be the nominee. This is a man with no sauce, no vibes, a brown wife and brown children. If you look at the base of support that pushed Donald Trump across the line, Vance isn't going to last a second. They're all just going along with this bit because Trump is saying it. But do you think Vance has any chance in the Republican primary once Trump is out of office?
I actually do. I think he does. And the reason is because there's going to be a clown car when Trump steps down. Look, either Vance is president in 28 already because something, would have happened health-wise to Trump or whatever at the age of 80. Who knows, right? I don't think that's going to happen. So I think Vance is still going to be VP. If Vance is president, though, already, he's going to be the nominee. Now, what if Vance is VP? If Vance is VP, as I think is going to just happen because I think Trump will just serve out 4 years, what's going to happen is this. There's going to be a clown car of people running. Vance, as the vice president, Trump is not going to endorse against Vance. He may endorse Vance, but he will not endorse against Vance because Vance is not going to do what Mike Pence did and show disloyalty because there's nothing to show disloyalty over. Even on the tariffs, even on the Abrego Garcia deportation, Vance was always in line. Now, when Trump doesn't endorse against Vance, what's going to happen is the most well-known Republican nominee in the field is going to end up getting 30-40%. And Vance can win the primary literally just based off of that and off the fact that he spent 4 years hobnobbing with representatives and senators, and they're all going to be eager to, get in his good graces because during the time of the primary, Trump will still have a year to serve out, and they're going to want to keep getting in Trump's good graces and not want Vance to bad talk him.
Yeah, but it's not entirely unprecedented for Trump. Not even unprecedented. It's not un-Trump behavior to not back your own VP in the primary. Again, this is all speculative, and I'm only doing this because these are the conversations that we would have off screen. So I'm just having them on screen. I'm not having my mainstream news conversation right now. We're just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
But like, Trump doesn't act normal, and Trump doesn't do normal shit. So it's like, if he came out with some like all caps 4,000 word tweet in like a manic rampage,
do you really think anyone is capable of reading a 4,000 word tweet if they're on?
You know what I'm saying though, like some long all caps exclamation point, M Trump tweet that's like endorsing some fucking maniac with a huge cowboy hat and like a belt buckle the size of his entire chest. I don't know. I feel weird about the Vance thing because any Republican whispering in Trump's ear is just going to be like, dude, this guy's going to get fucking crushed in the general. Like, because Vance isn't a real populist. Vance is like a populist cosplayer. He's got his fucking hillbilly elegy vibe, and he's got his whole like, I'm from the real America dance that he does, but nobody believes it. Like, he's not a convincing person. It seems as though he's just this one joke that everybody's kind of in on, and maybe everybody will get so committed to the bit that it puts him on the ticket in 2028. But I just look at the popularity of someone like Nick Fuentes right now, and I'm like, this is where that base is going. That base is going to want somebody who's more extremist than Trump. Like, I think that the people who are speculating that it's going to be some establishment classic conservative in 28 is just like not only looking in the opposite direction of how the map is right now, but like also plugging their ears and like saying la 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 la. Do you see someone who's normal? How do you even classify Vance? Like, because Vance, it tries to have his cake and eat it too and act as though he's kind of this common sense, chill guy while also supporting extremist policies.
I call Vance pocket MAGA is what I call him. And the reason I say that is because he really is just pure insane. He's dumb. He's insane. And I view him as someone who is trafficking in the worst theories that MAGA provides. And yet at the same time, he's doing it while presenting to everyone else a veneer of respectability, right? Like, MAGA is just something he keeps in his pocket and then wields around to all of Trump's supporters to show his bona fides. But if you hear Vance talk to reporters, if you hear him talk to voters on the trail, if you hear him in fundraisers and see the transcripts and things like that, JD Vance he's not Trump. He never will be, because he wants to be Trump, but he does not have the pull with low college voters. He does not have the name ID baked in from 4 decades on the real estate and club circuit in New York or the TV circuit. So Vance,
and he doesn't have the fucking sauce. He doesn't have the juice.
Like, he doesn't, exactly.
Everybody, before we go, I'm going to play a clip for you real quick. Let's take a look. Guys, don't clown on JD Vance for jogging like that when he's around. That is how dads jog when they're concerned and they're trying to go grab their kid. Like, he's being a dad. I'm going to fucking jog like that too when I'm a dad and I'm looking for my beautiful children. Like, shut the fuck up, okay? Let him do his thing. We don't like JD Vance, and we're going to deal with him at the ballot box. We're not going to.
I take comfort in Vance being the likely nominee in 28 because here's why. Vance doesn't have the sauce to pull off 90% of the shit that Trump does, and Vance is also the single most beatable Republican candidate for any of our nominees.
Everybody, if you are a Republican watching this, tell all your friends, don't back a more charismatic person. Just go ahead and back Vance, and we'll deal with it as it comes along. With Bulwark, we're Lakshya and Cameron. Go out and vote.